once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many acquaintance and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. To some visitor, muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly, I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember brought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books sources of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. The silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, distilled the beating of my heart, I stood repeating to some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more. Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating. Then no longer. Sir, said I, or Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door. But I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness, peering long, I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This, I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Nearly this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning all my soul within me. Burning soon again. I heard it tapping, someone louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore, and my heart be still a moment in this mystery explore, till the wind, nothing more. Open here, I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days, of your not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with the mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched in sad and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what the lordly name is on the night's plutonium shore. Quote, the raven, evermore, which I marveled this ungainly fowl. Do he a discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing. Bird above his chamber door, to a beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour, nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather. Then he fluttered, till, scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. And the bird said, Nevermore, startled at the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, but it utters as its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom, unmerciful, disaster followed fast, and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight high, wheeled a cushioned seat in front of burdened bust in door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, and in croaking, nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This, and more, I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er, whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating, or she shall press. Ah, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed, from an unseen censer swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite, in the penth from thy memories of Lenore. Qua, okay, this kind penth, and forget this lost Lenore, of the raven, nevermore. Prophet, say I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird would devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed thee, here is your desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land, on this home, by horror haunted, tell me, truly, I implore, is there, balm and Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven. Nevermore. Prophet, say I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow, within, if within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Qua, the raven, nevermore. Leave that word, our sign of parting bird or fiend, I shrieked up, starting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's plutonium shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out of my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quote, the raven, nevermore, and the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted, nevermore,